And then the warring king parable, if a king is going to fight against another king, first he will sit down and plan. He will decide if he and his 10,000 soldiers can engage or defeat the other king who has 20,000 soldiers. If he can't, then while the other king is still far away, he'll send some people to speak to him and ask for peace. In the same way, so this goes with that. In the same way, you must give up everything you have to be my follower. So obviously, what Jesus is inferring with this king is that he knows he can't do this on his own. He knows he can't win. So he's going to give up everything to this stronger king who is approaching and basically submit to them and say, I give you everything I have, spare me, pretty much. King with 10,000 must reckon whether he can face 20,000. If not, he wisely surrenders. What Jesus's twist is this: the king that we face is Christ himself. Better to surrender now, and I don't mean this with a bad connotation, surrender in the way that the Gospels teach us to. Surrender while he is not yet here, rather than to face him unprepared, or to face him on the day when he arrives, which is coming a lot sooner than everyone may think or be prepared for. Again, this parable presses home what I would kind of demonstrate as urgency. Surrender everything now or be defeated later. And then we'll touch on the salt aspect at the end. So salt is good. Remember, we as Christians are the salt of the earth. Salt is good, but if it loses its salty taste, you cannot make it salty again. It is no good for the soil or for manure. It is thrown away. So if we as the salt of the earth, first of all, interjection here, if we as the salt of the earth cannot lose our saltiness, so to speak, if we cannot fall away, if we cannot once have been salt and no longer are useful salt, no longer are salty, then Jesus wouldn't have emphasized this at the very end as well, especially demonstrating right after, let those with ears use them and listen, or let those with ears to hear. Just a little historical quip. Salt in Palestine back in that time was often mixed with impurities like gypsum. Once it was diluted, it lost its preserving and flavoring power. It was worthless even for fertilizer. So as Jesus is speaking of this, they kind of know what he's saying a little deeper than we even know it today. So too, a disciple who refuses the cost becomes indistinct from the world, useless for the kingdom. And then Matthew 5:13 says, you are the salt of the earth, of course, like I was alluding to. So that's where that comes from, is Matthew 5:13. And then Jesus warns, unsalty salt is good for nothing. It is thrown out. The cost of this versus the reward. Counting the cost is not only about, again, what you stand to lose by doing this, because your focus, your heart posture is on the gain, what you are gaining. It's not an initiation, so to speak, that destroys what we love, but a reordering where we declare Jesus is worth all of it. That to have reconciliation and relationship with Jesus, whatever the cost is, whatever we have that we can put towards that cost, we will do. Again, back to Philippians, just to re-echo what Paul was saying, I consider everything loss compared to knowing Christ. And in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, our light and momentary troubles achieve an eternal glory that far outweighs all of those light and momentary troubles. And 2 Timothy, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite books, chapter 4, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness,